Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 75 of the OG Technically Trek. I am your humble host, Dave Prime, and over there are the triumphant return of our ditzy witch, Captain Katie. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm alive.
I
um,
I feel you
um,
there, especially today.
yeah, we seem to have a role reversal at the minute with our sleep, darling, because today I've just had like 7.5 hours sleep.
Yeah, I've had 2 hours in the last 36, I want to say, yeah, 36 hours. I've been up for only slept for two of it because life on life's terms, as they say in the path of sobriety, is that as many of you know, say I do currently manage a sober home right now, and had an emergency eviction of someone that relapsed, and I won't go into too many details, but we were up all night trying to get him the help he needed, try to get him the medication that he needed to get him into the place he needed, and it's a hot mess, just to put it mildly. But I pray to the guy that he finds what he's looking for. But
Yeah.
yes, and that's a third person in the short tenure that I've had here that I've had to kick out, and they're not welcome to come back. So yeah, it's alcoholism and drug addiction is a fickle bitch. So I mean, if you need help, check your local resources. If you're an alcoholic that's struggling to find a room, there is a an app called Meeting Guide. It's available both on iPhone and Android. It's just a little circle with a blue chair on it, and that'll give you the listing of all the AA groups nationally as well. I think that there's some international options on there as well, since we all know Katie's over across the pond. We got Sixer backstage. He's also across the pond. So, but yeah, I
Oh,
forget. Yeah, there's a I forget. I mean, if there's other things for the alcoholism, would say there is also cocaine anonymous CA. There's a CA meeting finder. You can pull that up, and that can help you with other substances. NA, I'm sure, has got one, and all the others. But those CA and A are the two big ones that keep keep me sober. But another,
there's more help out there than people realize, and it can be difficult. It can, and I just send so much love and strength out there to anyone who is going through the process of addiction, whether it be on the road to recovery or they're not quite there yet. But I am sending so much love and strength.
yeah, saying that there is help out there locally, and same. I mean, on honestly, I'll put it out there. If you need help finding that support, message me there at Techno Dave on Twitter, and I can get you links to those resources. Well, just don't hesitate to drop me a DM, because yeah, we are back on Twitter slash X. I would say it's always going to be Twitter for me. I say
Same.
my little screw you to the muskrat.
Yes. Princess
Yeah.
Muskrat. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But speaking of princesses, Lady Val is still on the road to recovery, and even though there's been a lull, their GoFundMe is still live. They say that's Mono Interami Icheb from Star Trek Voyager, his heterosexual life mate. They still need help covering all the bills from her stay in the hospital earlier this summer. And her Val's father, while he flew out here to go keep an eye on her, help Manu out and take care of her. He had a fall, so he's in the hospital now as well.
Oh no.
Yeah, saying so the family really could use your help. So DT family, Trek family, bring back Icheb family, help Manu and Val and their family out because they could really use that support.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, but no, say don't have it full today, but just a quick shout out to my streaming partner Dubby. They provide a lot of energy drinks to help with gaming and podcasting and all that fun stuff. And say so you get all the buzz without the crash. So that's always a nice thing. But if you go to their website w.gg and use the tech code, the 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 discount code TechTrek, TEKTREK, you can get 10% off your order on tumblers and single pack beverage. Sorry. Yeah, like the bundle deals. I mean, you're getting a deal on the bundle deals, so jump on that. But all that other stuff, 10% off with Tech Trek for your code. You can get some pretty great flavors going on there. But say one thing that makes this show technically Trek unique from a lot of the other Star Trek podcasts is that we do encourage and welcome live participation with us on camera. And saying, well, a lot of the ones they do the stuff on the side with YouTube, which the YouTube description below has the link for that live participation. We're almost halfway full already tonight, so yay for that. But give a click to that link. If you're feeling camera shy, that's okay. Yeah, just you can have the camera off, put the microphone on, but you actually get to speak what you think. And say if you're having a ditzy moment, you can turn your camera off like Katie just did. Yeah, but yeah, so the episode we're going to talk to tonight, because again, 2 hours of sleep in the last 36. I just was able to cram that at the last minute. I got some great notes on it, but I my first thought was, oh, as the way the episode started, it's just like, oh, Katie, she's probably pulling her hair out.
Well, I'm not going to lie, because of everything that's been going on the last few weeks, obviously I've had a few absences, including last week. I haven't actually watched the previous episode, which I will watch. Let's just say my OCD is pitching a hissy fit about that. But I have watched this episode. I watched it just before the show. And I think that I may be warming up to Paul Wesley as Kirk. I still don't like him.
Really?
The only version of Kirk I've ever liked in any way, shape, or form is Chris Pine, because he stuck to the original character profile for Kirk, and he allowed Kirk to guide him rather than him guiding Kirk. When he portrayed him in the Kelvin Timeline movies, but Paul Wesley seems to be relaxing into this role. And I'm very interested to see where he's going to take it. I'm actually hoping that he goes more down the Chris Pine route, in all honesty, because that is more true to the original character profile of Kirk. Because, Chris Pine didn't let his freaking ego get in the way. So I'm very much hoping that Paul Wesley does that as well, because I do know that is not overly egotistical. As much as I don't like him, I'll give him that. But I actually quite like his portrayal of Kirk in Strange New Worlds. I mean, I think he's pushing it a little bit, but I'm very interested, like I said, to see where he takes it. And this episode was really good. I enjoyed it from start to finish.
That's awesome. Sam, just getting something going on there real quick, but I am going to go ahead and I just got a notification that Tyson's not going to be able to join us tonight due to automotive issues. So he says, sorry I couldn't be there. I'll see you all next week, but we do have Zach, Travis, and Sixer with us tonight. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hello there.
Greetings. Hey.
Hello.
And I say, well, question right off the bat to Sixer and Katie. Did you notice another sci-fi franchise kind of made a tiny debut into Star Trek tonight? Or there was this episode?
Sorry, say that again.
There is a tiny little nod to another sci-fi franchise in this episode.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the Enterprise was inside the whatever. You could see a TARDIS.
Do you know what? I was just going to say Doctor Who, but I don't know why, because I can't stand Doctor Who. I was going to say Doctor Who, but I thought, no, I'm just, I'm imagining things.
Yeah, see, I forgot to download a screen grab of that, so I'll probably grab that because
I can't remember which series or film, but didn't they have a somebody have a in the background in one of them sea of ships had the Millennium Falcon doing a flyby in the background.
That was it. Star Trek First Contact.
Yeah.
Right.
And then in the 09 Star Trek reboot, R2D2 was kind of tumbling in the debris of Vulcan there.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, I've put up the trailer for Chapter 8 for the Star Trek Defiant. So that's up
Ooh.
because I'm now just finalizing the Chapter 8, just tidying up, and that will be uploaded very soon. So keep an eye on that.
Alrighty.
Oh,
The
And
trailer
I got
is up.
something to say. I got something to say as well. Given that we're all fans of pop culture and everything else, I just want to say we should take a moment of silence because I just, heard about I think it was about 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, that after 34 years, the wonderful world of most of us Americans knew of it was called AOL's dial-up. It is going to be no more after 34 years.
Oh no!
And
What's
AOL is going to be gone. And AOL dial-up is going to be gone and stuff and everything. So I just want everybody to take a moment to say, just get your thoughts and stuff out there too. And also too, real quick too, because most of you, we got two people from the UK here and stuff. I just wanted to say we just lost somebody in the entertainment industry. His name was Terrence Stamp.
Oh, no.
And if people don't know who this gentleman is, he is he's most recognizable guy from what we say Superman 2, and that's General Zod. And he also was in a lot of people, some people have love for it, some people don't, but it's a prequel. Star Trek Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. He would play Supreme Chancellor Valorum in that.
He means Star Wars.
Star Wars.
He also plays Jor-El in Smallville as well.
That too, and it's so crazy too that I remember. I remember seeing that he goes far back. His acting credits go far back to 1965. There was a really good movie. It's a UK movie. It's called The Collector. I've never seen it, but I have heard about it. It's a really good movie and stuff. But then also too, I remember from 1994, he was in a movie called The Adventure of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And listen to this, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
This movie, it's an Australian movie because it's so crazy that he starred in it along with Hugo Weavy and Guy Pearce, and they travel around down under stuff and everything, and they all was drag queens. They performed. They was drag queens in this movie, and I remember seeing it on Cinemax, or as some of us here in the U.S. call it, Skinemax. But I remember seeing this movie, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It's such a really interesting show. I only seen it once, and that was literally about 30 years ago.
Same.
And I remember he was in it, and he played a drag queen. It was crazy. So I just wanted to get that out there.
And Terrence isn't a short dude either. So to have a big old dude like Stamp playing a drag queen, that's quite amazing and humorous at the same time. And of course, if anyone is recognized as Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar is an American reboot of that movie.
Patrick Swayze, Leslie Snipes, and I can't remember the other.
John Leguizamo. You're just a girl in a dress, or boy in a dress.
Patrick Swayze was
boy in a dress.
Snipes had some great lines in that movie, just like, "Girl, you just did not pull a Huey on me."
I can't see this guy Passenger 57, at that time in Tu Wong Fu. Crazy. It just blows my mind, especially watching, Terrence Stamp from Superman. And then he went from there to, that movie. I was just like, wow, that's pretty interesting. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there for pop culture reference and stuff and everything.
Oh, absolutely. That's one thing that kind of makes this series of podcasts unique from other ones, is that we kind of segue away from Star Trek, but we kind of roll back into it. What's up, Katie?
You've missed out introductions. I don't know who this gentleman is here.
Oh, Sixer, yeah, he joined us for the first time last week. He goes by the name K70. He produces the Star Trek Defiant animated YouTube series.
Ah,
Dave, you have his link that you can probably put up for us.
Oh, or he can throw it. Yeah, if you can type it in there,
I can
Sixer,
put it
I'll
in
throw
the private chat, which you can then
link.
throw up there. So if you
well, it's nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. So how are you?
It's nice to have another Brit on the show.
Yeah, can't have too many.
And we actually made comments about that. It's like Katie's missing out.
Yeah, I know. I've got backup. You know, I've got backup against all these bloody weird Americans now.
You don't feel so left out now, do you? Could be
No,
worse.
you see, it's bad enough that I'm the only girl. You know.
Could be worse? We could have a Canadian on, so there you go. You know.
Yeah,
well, you know.
yeah. Phil's not going to be able to join us either tonight. He's just realized, oh crap, it's Monday. I got other commitments. I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but I do have a screen image of the TARDIS. It's like I said, it's way kind of in the background there. That little square, if you just look very closely, it is definitely a little blue box.
Can you not zoom in?
Right, it's in the private chat.
Alrighty, but yeah, it's back there.
And I'll take you straight to the channel. I said I've already uploaded the trailer for Chapter 8. I said Chapter 8, I'm just doing the final touches to it, getting the final sound effects, music, and everything put together. And it'll be uploaded and released soon.
I'll just go here and see if it'll let me do it.
Just going to make sure my animator gets the final say.
Oh yeah.
Final approval, see if he's happy with what I've done.
Yeah, as someone with a broadcasting background, I know all too well about all that post production and backstage stuff that's involved with that. So when I was actually taking courses in broadcasting in college, it's like every 5 minutes of video, you're looking at 1 hour in the editing bay. So I can only imagine it's even worse when you're dealing with animation and not live action.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you just look down there below, just say youtube.com/@k-70. That'll get you to Sixers account, and so you can see the videos and hopefully have a good time and just kick back and enjoy it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we can't survive without those likes and subscribes. So yeah, definitely do that, because that helps us out, helps monetize the channel when we hopefully someday get to those numbers, because we're fast approaching to that episode 100. That's still another 25 weeks away, but yeah,
We're getting there slowly.
Yeah, slowly but surely. But the longer Dangerous Thoughts is on a break, is saying we're slowly going to surpass their episode count.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm sure it won't be too much longer before the mother show is back.
Yes.
Sorry, I just looked at my channel. My subscription's gone up another 20 subs. So thank you for those who just subscribed. So I am now at 2,590, getting closer to the 2,600 mark.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, because I haven't been able to do a lot of like background research. Yeah, because one of the things I made notes on is they mentioned nope, never mind. As soon as I opened my big fat mouth, I realized that I got Sullivan's Planet mixed up with Sherman's Planet. With yeah, so as soon as I started, it's like, yeah, okay, so shut up, Dave.
My dickiness really is rubbing off onto you, isn't it, love?
Yeah, but again, 2 hours of sleep and 36. So yeah, even though
how come you've only got 2 hours sleep?
I did have like a few like quick power naps while I was in the car, but for the most part, Jesse, I didn't get any solid sleep until I actually laid down in my bed. But then I had my alarm set to go off in about 2 hours so I could A, watch this episode so we can still do this tonight, but B, coffee. So, but I'm still fighting disease right now, so it's doing a lot going on here. But
So if tonight becomes an absolute cock up, we can blame you then for your fatigue.
Yep. Well, we can blame the guy. We can blame the guy I kicked out for my fatigue.
We'll blame you. We'll blame you.
I say I'm used to taking the blame for a lot of shit, but this one not so much because not only did we have to deal with the resident, we had someone that was drunk and high off their ass, just screaming outside the apartment, and she eventually just lay down in the street and almost got ran over by a couple of cars. So we called the police.
Jesus.
We called the police. They said, "We'll get someone dispatched right away." And not 2 minutes later, a police car showed up. We flagged them down. Turns out they were going to something completely unrelated to our phone call to the police. But they said, "You know what? This is a serious situation. We're going to have someone else sent to our call. We're going to take this call."
Oh, well, that was good of them then.
Yeah, but as soon as that person, guy or girl, I couldn't tell what gender they were, is saying they saw the flashing lights. They're gone with the wind. They flat out disappeared. But yeah, like I said, it was a long and crazy night, and the full moon's not until for another couple of weeks at least, I think.
Well, it's full moon somewhere, so
let's see here. August 2025. The full moon is not until the 9th. So that was actually it was 2 weeks ago almost.
Yep.
So, or a little over
It
a
was
week
a blood
ago.
moon as well.
But yeah, let's get some opening thought. Like I say, we got some opening thoughts from Katie, what she thought about the episode. What about you, Travis?
Well, let's start out with I did not see that we was going to take. I mean, in a sense, I did not think that this particular episode was going to happen mostly on the Farragut, especially with Kirk. The ship that James T. Kirk is assigned to. It was pretty interesting watching him, doing his, how they do standard, log entries for everybody and stuff and everything. It was pretty interesting for that.
Yeah, well, I sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just like
no,
he's like what do you say? The log for the ship's like ship's log, star date. What is a star date?
I was gonna get to that. I was like, you know what? That is actually. He was like, he just kind of said what a lot of people always thought. Like, what is these
star dates are confusing.
You can't. How do you remember star dates and stuff and everything? How do you say it and stuff and everything? There are people who broke down. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh yeah, like with the original series, the star date was all over the place. Like one week it's star date 2275.4, next week it's 3216.2, then next week it's 1721.9. So it's it was very inconsistent.
And no matter how many times I watch Star Trek from original series to Enterprise, I can never figure out the star dates. I mean, absolute, just a load of meaningless numbers to me. I don't know how to work it out.
Well, then when Next Generation came out, I mean, of course, when they originally had the idea, the 4 at the beginning was supposed to stand for the 24th century, and then the second digit was what season they were in, and then the next 3 is on 1,000 points for one calendar year. So they finally found a way of normalizing that, but then they kind of backdated a little bit because once Star Trek 2 happened, they started formalizing it a little bit more. So it'd be more consecutive.
That's why I'm so glad when Enterprise came out, at least it's kept with the Earth calendar.
Yeah, because they didn't have a start date back.
No, they stuck with the Earth calendar. Thank you.
That's why that's why I stuck with memorizing the Ferengi rule of acquisitions, then tried to remember star dates and stuff and everything, because for their acquisitions are pretty much a little more easier to remember than try to remember star dates.
Well, you, my man, you are much better than me when it comes to those rules of acquisition. Say by leaps and bounds. So I commend you for that.
I mean, I had this problem when I was doing Star Trek Defiant. I thought, oh god, I could put a star date in, but I thought no, okay, I'll just put Captain's log, and that's what I did. I didn't put a star date in it because I thought because I still have no idea how star dates work, so I don't put a star date in it.
Here's a little thing too. If you think if you ever heard of this, I heard Picard or a bunch of other people in TNG, DS9, Voyager. Stardate supplemental. They'll use that supplemental, and they won't give it name it. They would just say supplemental.
Yeah,
and it makes it so easy because you're not giving the precise date, stuff like that of an earthier calendar and stuff and everything. But Dave, I'm sorry, you was gonna say something, wasn't you?
Well, I've always viewed the supplemental as an addendum to an existing captain's log, so I didn't have to give
additional.
any date.
Additional, it's the same thing, and it's
add note, add entry.
Well, in this particular episode, watching him give his log entry and stuff, it was pretty interesting to see. I was like, when my first take, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting to see it from another starship's point of view in a sense and stuff. And then we have this version of James T. Kirk. So I was like, this is going to be one of those ones where you'd be like, oh, the Enterprise is going to have to come and probably save the ship. In my first thinking before it actually happened, because I was taking that, and then he was kind of arguing with his captain, who turned out to be a Vulcan,
a female Vulcan for that matter,
a female Vulcan, and he wanted to send down a way team and stuff. And Vulcans are meticulous about they are so thorough on everything else. They make the job almost boring in a sense, because they would rather let sensors and probes and stuff, well, not sensor but probes and stuff and everything else, they do things so methodical to the point where it takes the fun out of the exploration and stuff and everything else, because they try to minimize, as they say, any kind of contaminants or whatever and stuff and everything, which in this part, I'm glad that, she refused to and stuff and everything else. Now, in the introduction,
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
just in there.
in the beginning, when they were scanning this, planet outside of Federation territory and stuff, when they didn't show what was on the view screen, but the look on Kirk's face said it all, because he was just like mortified at what he's seen on screen and stuff and everything else. And it was just like, what happened? It caused the planet to explode in such a way that it knocked out the captain. And a lot of people say this is why starships should have seatbelts and stuff and everything else. She got a head injury. She got flown out of her chair. And then, other people got thrown out their chairs and stuff and everything else. But, this is one of the things where people they should have seatbelts on starships and stuff. But I thought it was really interesting in the beginning how this, started out and everything else. And after we seen all that, credits run. And then we seen how damaged the Farragut was. Oh, boy. And then all of a sudden, what warped in the frame, used their phasers to destroy a couple of the cometary debris, and her shield to protect the Farragut and stuff. And it was pretty interesting to see who beamed over to the Farragut and stuff and everything. It was pretty interesting to see the away team and stuff. And I thought it was it was smart in this particular thing to have the young engineer Scotty with them instead of having having the lady engineer and stuff.
Hell yeah.
So I thought everything was like, okay, this is gonna be very interesting and stuff, because I did not know, of course I did not know how this particular direction of this whole episode was going to go. But I like how they was trying to coordinate and everything else, but it was communications was jammed. They couldn't contact each other and stuff, and people was injured. Everybody, Spock and Lam went to the bridge, and Scotty went to engineering, and everybody went to like a different designated with their special expertise and stuff and everything. I liked all that too and everything else. I like how they came in and they assessed the situation, and they tried to help establish and everything else and stuff. But oh my God, did it take a big twist and turn when after Ladon got beamed over to the Enterprise, this massive ship that just it was crazy. It was just like, oh my goodness, what is this thing? And I was just thinking, that's the scary thing about it. About that is when you remember seeing Kirk's face, he was just like, what the heck did we see? I was like, and then fast forward, I'm trying to make what my point is. Fast forward to where they was talking about like a raider, the scavengers. They use the word scavengers. Everybody had their own little take. Even the Gorn, had their take about these scavengers and stuff and everything who raid, outposts or whatever stuff just outside of like territorial ranges and stuff. It was pretty. I like the whole. It kind of seemed almost like not say piratey and stuff and everything else, but it had this thing where everybody had their own little. Wise tale when it comes to these scavengers and stuff and everything else, survivor stories or whatever and stuff and everything. And everybody had their own different take on it, but it was really interesting.
Anyone?
Farragut?
The Farragut?
No, the big ship with the tentacles and the big nice smile. Yes, a lovely smile.
Annihilator?
Yes. It
Oh,
was
wow.
adorable. It was so cute.
Okay.
Wow.
But
Go ahead, Dave.
Really quick, just Katie's comment earlier about Vulcans have a very huge stick up their ass. That's why they're sticklers to the rules.
That's right.
Exactly. Right. Honestly, there's only two Vulcans in the history of Trek that I can stand, and that's Spock and Tuvok. They're the only two Vulcans I can stand. Any other Vulcans, I really I can't stand.
Yeah, Saval was definitely a very one of those sticklers to the rules, but as the Enterprise got on, he kind of maybe just vacillated a little bit. He kind of opened up a little more to the humanity of being on Earth as long as he has, but still.
I like Sarek.
Yeah, Sarek was really good too, especially with between Spock and.
Yeah, I don't mind him, actually. I don't mind him, but even still, he's still slappable.
No, you're telling which Sarek are we talking about? Are we talking about the original Sarek, or are we talking other kinds of Sarek?
When I say Sarek, I'm talking about Mark Leonard.
The original.
Sarek. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. I'm talking about all of them.
I mean, like with Spock. I mean, each actor that's portrayed the character has put their own little spin to it.
Yes.
But they've used the original actors as the backbone for the character.
I mean,
FYI, Katie, Sixer here is a massive TOS fan. And
not a big.
He does not like it. He doesn't like anything of the new Star Trek, except for season 3 of Star Trek Picard. He enjoyed. He enjoyed.
And Prodigy.
And Prodigy. But he's not. He's just like me. He's not much of a big fan of like some of these new age Star Trek and everything. We talked about that last week on last week's episode.
And it was a good conversation. And I loved it. And I loved it.
You loved it because he came back. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just so you know, I didn't watch the whatever episode you're reviewing. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of New Trek. Never.
Yes, it is. I mean, there's a. Like I said,
that's probably why I focused on doing Defiant. So
yeah, because I mean, I only got 2 pages of notes because again, but I blame insomnia for and you know what going on here today, last couple of days.
This episode 2 made it more interesting in a sense because you thought the ship that was more heavily damaged was going to be the one that's either going to be destroyed or is going to be the one to get taken. Heck no. They went after the toughest ship. They went after the Enterprise, and they swallowed the Enterprise, and stuff. And just watching them, try to catch up because they,
How big is this ship then to swallow the Enterprise?
This particular ship, I would say it had to be at least bigger, almost as. as probably as the size of a Romulan D Derridex class, if not bigger.
I mean, you couldn't be surprised. I mean, look at the Viserys, how it dwarfed the Enterprise. I mean, the TOS. So I shouldn't really be surprised, really. Speaking of Enterprise, it says it's an inward reason why. Because isn't the Farragut originally Constitution class?
Yes.
No.
What?
No, wait.
In
No,
the TOS, is the Farragut is a TOS, is a Constitution class. I just wonder why they changed the design for this, for the Strange New Worlds.
Hold on a second.
I don't.
The Farragut is a Constitution class.
Hold on.
That would, I mean.
Now I'm talking original, but I'm saying, but in the Strange New Worlds, it's this strange source section with this with the nacelle slung underneath.
Yeah, saying so.
I like it.
Yeah, say it. In Strange New Worlds, it's a Bellerophon class starship. Let's see here.
So there's a list of all the Constitution class of TOS eras, and one of them is the Farragut, and is a Constitution class.
Yeah.
I remember in Star Trek Generations, there was a ship called the Farragut, which was a Nebula class.
Nebula class,
which is a similar design with the saucer and the cells underneath. But I guess it wasn't as popular of a ship name, so it didn't go 1647 BCD whatever. It just got a whole
Kirk's first command before the Enterprise. When we took Enterprise.
Let's see here.
I don't know. Maybe it'll get an upgrade. You never know.
Yeah. But real quick, while Dave's looking that up and stuff, to get back to what I was saying too. Now they attacked the Enterprise and they took the Enterprise and stuff like that because the Enterprise was seen, I guess, was a more value target than the Farragut at that time and stuff because she was at 4 strength, power, and everything else and stuff and everything. They attacked this ship that attacked and destroyed this planet. It was like what the heck and everything else, and then everybody like Lanon and what's her name? The first officer on the Enterprise, Una. They started telling, what they have heard, the old wise tale stories that they have heard about, the scavenger ship and everything else and whatnot. Fast forward, from all the other things that happen and stuff, because I know we got to keep this, show moving and stuff because they got to get off here in the next about 45 minutes.
No, see, I got an hour and 45 minutes.
An hour and 45 minutes? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But really quick, originally the Farragut was Constitution class. I'm looking at memory beta right now, so
I thought something about that. They went up against, and when they finally actually showed the individuals, because you was like, now who the heck, what kind of species, has such a powerful ship that everybody have told they said Klingon, D7 and other stuff and Gorn and everybody had their own little wise tale about the ship and everything else, and they implemented like their technology in it. I almost started thinking going back to TNG when we first met in season 2.
Nagilum, where Silent has peace.
It wasn't Nagilum. It was the Packlets. I started thinking, not saying because the Packlets, how they accumulate their technology, stuff like that, they scavenge. They don't like make their own technology and stuff and everything. They scavenge and everything else. And I was just like, no, this can't be Packlets. It's something. This seems more extreme than the Packlets and stuff and everything. I'm just thinking. I was like, this is pretty interesting and stuff. But then when we got to actually see these individuals, 2 individuals, on the lower part of the Enterprise, you started thinking, what kind of suit are they wearing? They were wearing some really, it almost looked like a deep sea trench diving suit that you would see, in a movie and stuff and everything. He was like this big bulbous head and stuff and everything. It was like, I wonder what kind of species is up under there. Now, spoiler alert for anybody and everything who hasn't seen this and everything else. They fought back. They fought these people, whoever they were, and stuff, and close to. And by the time the end came, they killed one of them. It vaporized because Pike says, "Set your phasers on kill." So they tried to stun him, but it didn't work. Kill, because their suits was absorbing their phaser fire. So they managed to, wounded one, which they actually killed in a sense, but he didn't vaporize like the other one. When they took off the mask, and when at the same time they were showing on the Farragut the sensor reading, because after Kirk destroy the scavenger ship using photon torpedo, jammed through the ship, like the ship's throat, it turned out to be human beings. And that was just a big plot twist. It was like human beings. And when Pike removed the mask or whatever, it was a human being and stuff. And it was just, it was like, what is going on? And then they showed that photo too. And on the Farragut too, they zoomed in on a particular part, and it had the United States flag 50 stars. It was pretty interesting to see that.
Yes, I didn't get a chance to count the number of stars on there because I know with the Royale, when Riker and the away team found Richie's remains and all that, it had 52 stars. So at one point, we finally did add a few more states to the Union.
Yeah, and it was pretty interesting because they put it in an interesting time date too. They put it right. Well, it was right at the end of the Second World War or the Third World War, wasn't it? And they said that these human beings, the people that went out, because they said according to their sensor readings, it was like 7,000 of them, and Kirk killed these 7,000 individuals and stuff and everything else, and he felt. You could tell when Pike beamed over to the Farragut and they talked about that, and it's talked about, look, it's things like that going to happen. That's the burden of command. You're going to do things that's going to give you an upset stomach about, taking life that you don't want, that you never wanted to take. And, either you accept it or not and everything else, because if you can't sit in a big chair and make those kind of decisions and take responsibility for those decisions and stuff and everything else, he basically was just telling him that's the burden of being the captain and stuff and everything else, taking the good with the bad. And seeing the picture and hearing this little thing, like you said, David, it brought me back to the Royale, and also brought me back to, a lot of stuff that they have done in the past with, like, right before, the Vulcans, and, the first contact with the Vulcans and stuff like that, because it just make you. It was like, okay, Earth at that time, because they were supposed to be the brightest. They say the brightest and the best of us, and they was gonna leave Earth and they thought that Earth was uninhabited. So I guess they turned to piracy, scavenger, and never thought that Earth actually survived and became more better than what they really thought and stuff and everything. But that's the whole take, Sixer, of this episode.
Well, and Travis brought up an interesting point, because it kind of like leaned into another Next Generation episode, Up the Long Ladder.
Yes.
With the Brinoidi and the clone, the ones that went to cloning, because they thought that Earth was doomed. So the Mariposa, they went off to greener pastures and they crash landed. Then they just
and then the Irish farm type thing with the other one.
Yeah, that's the Brin or
the Brinoidi.
Yeah, it was the Brinoidi. Yeah, same.
One clone, the other one breed.
Yep. But yeah, because that kind of ties in. Were these 7,000 descendants part of that? Because they said that they were sending people out there into space before first contact with the Vulcans, and so it's just like the what if scenario. What happened? Why did they not recognize the the Enterprise and the Farragut? And say, did they become xenophobic? Did they? Um, I mean, even like there's like shades of Terra Prime when they started fractioning off their Enterprise. There's like a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
that xenophobia going on, where they wanted to branch off, even though there's a 100-year difference in that
Yeah,
regard.
yeah.
Sorry.
And you know what? This particular, and you start thinking too. They resorted, like I said, back to they call them scavengers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I ain't seen. I say almost piracy.
Mm.
You would see, like the old days, what we know as pirates and stuff and everything else. They live by their wits, answer to nobody but their own selves and stuff and everything else. And
Yep.
they built, they scavenge from other species that they encounter or whatever they could, and they built this massive ship and everything else and stuff that just looks. Katie said it was cute, but it was just in some ways
But
it looked it looked in a sense it was very it was very remnant of almost I hate to put it like to me like a 80s cartoon like style ship. It had a way of looking like this alien because it had the opening. It had a mouth. It reminded me of like some sort of 80 cartoon type of thing. But I'm sorry, go
like
ahead,
one of
Katie.
the monsters from Battle of the Planets.
mm.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I was mentioning where silence has lease, is say because I mean there's a definite correlation with Worf when he was talking about just this giant thing just scooping up and eating ships, and it said that they've lost Klingon vessels to this monster, and lo and behold, one of the ships inside this thing was a D7 battle cruiser.
Hmm. That's a good take. I didn't think about that, Dave. That's a good take about that. Go ahead, Katie. I'm sorry, we was interrupting.
No, I was just going to say the. I don't know if this is just me, but I did put a comment up. I had suspicions for a while before it was. Thank you. I've actually had my hair exactly like Princess Leia before.
With the Cinnamon buns for ears.
Yeah, because I did a Princess Leia like cosplay for Halloween one year, but we won't go there.
Well, you need to go there for this Halloween.
We'll see. Halloween is very different for me nowadays, darling.
Yeah, you're bringing up what
But,
I want to bring up, so go ahead as I have a sneeze
but
fit.
I had some suspicions for a while that this enemy could be human, and I'll walk you through why. The ship itself reminded me of a Leviathan. Just even though it wasn't as streamlined as a Leviathan, there's very different legends of the Leviathan, and some of them do have like tentacle type things on them. But it was the mouth that did it for me. But also, and again, I know this is going to sound really, really silly, but the environmental suits that they wore, they looked like something very similar, like what Travis said, like about like deep, like very old school, like deep sea diving
Kind of like
things. But
Captain Nemo type thing.
yeah, but also, and again, really stupid. It was the way they moved around. The way they moved around was very human. And I've taken note because you know me, I delve into episodes and movies and books and everything so deep, and I take note of such tiny little things. I mean, aside from the psychology of the characters and the episodes, the movies, I also look at body language a lot as well. And the way they moved around was very human. And the way they fought was very human as well. And then when Pike's mask came off, the way that this enemy froze, it was recognition. Even though you couldn't see the enemy's face, the body language and just the way that guy froze, it was recognition, and that sold it for me. And I thought I was completely wrong, but I was just every little thing that I noticed led up to me thinking, are these some form of humans from the past or something? And then when Spock looked into the thingamabob,
I call it the Spock box.
Spock box, yeah, well, we'll go with that. But when he looked into there, the shock on his face, that just that sold it even more for me. And the same when Kirk looked into it as well. And I actually couldn't believe that I was right for once, because it's not often that I'm right when it comes to things like that. Apart from in Picard season 3. But yeah, it was actually quite disturbing for me that, I mean, you know how much I bitch about humanity. And humanity has gone to shit. And, you know, humanity went even more downhill in the Trek world with, like, the Third World War, 600 million dead, and all that lot. But the way that humanity was turned around because of the invention of warp drive, first contact with Vulcans, it was absolutely amazing. But then this faction of humans, these 7,000 individuals who are the descendants of those people, that actually scares me for humanity in general, because, you know, if and when we get out there, how are we going to turn out? The way humanity is right now, how are we going to turn out? Are we going to turn out more like the Federation? Are we going to turn out more like these scavengers? You know, are we going to turn out more like the Cardassians, the Romulans? But just purely with us and like the Federation and these scavengers, which way? You know, looking at the direction humanity is going at the minute, you know, there's so much devolution in mindsets and thinking right now. Which way are we going to go?
And that
And
kind of
it's terrifying.
Oh, absolutely. It just kind of ties into what I'm thinking more and more as I slowly process and digest the episode. This could be the first time that these scavengers have made contact with humanity since they left Earth.
Yeah.
When you say that pause, that why didn't they kill Pike? It's like, oh my God, these people are human. What the heck? It's like we thought, just like in again up the long ladder, just like we thought humanity was doomed, that we're never going to see humans again.
Terra Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's actually quite scary, you know. I mean, yeah, we watch Trek and we see the potential for humanity as portrayed by Gene Roddenberry, you know. But that's the vision that he has, well, had for humanity. And so many people still have that vision. But then you take a faction of humans, thank you, Travis. You take a faction of humans like these scavengers, and it's a complete opposite of everything the Federation stands for.
The proverbial spanner in the works.
Yeah, but it shows a very different side to humanity that Star Trek has always portrayed.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, yeah, fair enough, they still have little bits of crime and, you know, and this, that, and the other, but because they still have like penal colonies, put my teeth in, and things like that. But it it's nothing too huge when it comes to breaking the law and things. But the this is a completely different side of humanity to what has always been portrayed, and it just makes you beg the question. Like I've already said, which way are we gonna go?
On that note right there, Kate, because I know we're still on this subject of this particular episode. Do y'all do anybody? I know Sixer would probably remember this because he watched, I believe, Enterprise. But in season 1, don't remember number of the episode, but it was called Fortune's Son. I think Fortunate Sons or something.
Mm-hmm.
It started out with the ECH or the ECS Fortunate. And it was I guess a cargo ship, the Earth cargo ship.
I think it was either J class or Y class. Can't remember now.
Yeah, I believe it was a Y class. But you're right. So it started out, showing, them on their, just doing their daily thing and, whatnot and stuff. But needless to say, that particular episode shows you that, cargo captains and cargo crews and stuff and everything else who, go back and forth between whatever they hauling to Earth and whatever and stuff and everything else. And it's a long distance because they're only traveling at warp 1. Warp 1, warp 2 and stuff like that. And it takes a very long distance.
Yeah, it's a very long distance. But there you go. It's supposed to, it's some paper. It's like the Enterprise itself. It's supposed to be warp 5 only on paper. It doesn't mean necessarily it will reach there. So warp 2, not necessarily reach warp 2, probably warp 0.5 or something, or 0.8.
Close to it. Close to it. The particular episode that I'm referring to is, okay, it started out showing that they're getting attacked by, as we know in that time, the Nausicaans.
Yeah.
The Nausicaans attacked the ship and stuff and everything else. And I guess, they sent out a distress call. And, next thing you know, after the credits end, we seen Captain Archer being contacted by Admiral Force. And they basically, he basically asked asked Archer to check in on them and stuff, see what's going on and everything else and whatnot. Needless to say, it seemed like everything was okay, hunky dory and everything else and stuff. But in a good way through the episode, we saw that they took a prisoner, a Nausicaan and stuff. And make a long story short, the story basically was no one's out there protecting them but themselves, and they have to make their own rules up when it comes to handling potential hostile species and stuff and everything else. And they can't, they was where they could so far away, there's not a lot of starship. There only one starship was the Enterprise at that time, and not a lot of Earth vessels existed at that time and stuff. And I believe they said they make their own rules, in a sense. They make their own rules up, on each different cargo vessels that that travels and stuff and everything else. They set their own precedents. They do their own things and stuff and everything else, because they don't really have a oversight government body that they answer to, they report to, or they hand over, potential threats, prisoners or whatever and stuff and everything else. They did things on their own, without consent from, I should say, Starfleet. And it kind of remind me of what you were saying, Katie, too, stuff like that, because these were human beings we seen in this Enterprise, in Fortune's Sons, I believe it was called. And they they still hold true to their, to, I guess, to their values, in the sense that they're not like out there being killers, but they're not going to be pushovers.
That was with the Cindy when they were going to try and the coils were gone, and they actually did a bit of piracy to get their own, didn't they?
Yeah, and I just swore that he would never do that.
Yeah.
I just swore that he would never
Do that,
and leave somebody stranded regardless of what had happened to them, and he ended up doing that. And I mean, I don't agree with what he did to some degree, but also to some degree I do.
Well, Earth was at stake. It was far bigger.
Yeah, under the circumstances.
I know his morals were gone. It's like with the DS9 with the it's a fake. You know that one there, that episode there. He got into a level where he aside of me, he swore he never did, but he did it. Fake noise, and then and of course allow this Vulcan diplomat to be killed and not say anything.
Romulan,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get the Romulans on the side. So again, he was thinking of the bigger picture. He hated it, and he wanted to kill Garrick for doing it. But he knew, like Garrick explained to him, you got to think of the bigger picture. What's more at stake?
And this is why I don't completely disagree with their decisions. To some degree, I do, because it's not a nice decision to have to make. But under the circumstances, yeah, I understand. I kind of agree with it. But the difference is that they felt so bad about it. Like Archer felt bad about it, and he left them provisions and things like that because of how bad it felt, and he knew it was wrong. But because of the stakes, he felt like he had no choice. Same with what's that annoying arsehole's name? Cisco. Same with Cisco,
That's how you really feel.
He felt bad about it. But
someone had died, didn't they? So
yeah, and I do get that, but just going around and destroying worlds, and it's not so bad if it's uninhabited, including wildlife and things like that. But it's not as bad if it's not inhabited. If they specifically sought out uninhabited worlds, there was no animal life there. If there was not much foliage and things like that, then fair dues. If that's what they've got to do, that's what they've got to do in order to survive. But even still, I don't agree. But to do it, to destroy worlds that are inhabited, no, there is no excuse for that. I'm sorry, but there isn't.
Well, in Star Trek, you got to remember, in Star Trek, not a lot of species we see have a moral compass as what human beings do and stuff when it comes to how you view life forms. There are species in there, like you say, the Cardassians, how they view the Bajorans, how Klingons view other species too, because they have conquered other species as well and stuff. But they never really went out to exterminate them. But the founders tried to exterminate the Cardassians themselves at the end of DS9 and stuff and everything else. But you could say the founders, they didn't have a sense of moral compass, but to themselves, because they had hundreds of different species up under them and stuff and everything else. So you look at that, and we see in this particular episode that these human beings, the descendants, or even the descendants, in that 200 span of whenever they, from 200 years that they had been doing this and stuff like that, they got rid of that. Can't say they got rid of it. It seems like they lost their moral compass, their more human compass, I should say, and stuff. Because as you was just saying, we saw that they destroyed an entire planet, and basically they didn't care about life. And in this particular episode 6 or 2, the ship, after it took the Enterprise inside its gullet, it was setting the course for another inhabited world with over 100 million life forms, 100 million people on it. And the Farragut was able to actually outpace it. Their engines was a lot better, but Scotty warned Kirk, we push the engine like that, we're going to end up, doing irreparable damage and stuff. And he was right. Kirk didn't care about it, but he when he realized, Scotty was right about what he did. He didn't take in Scotty's opinion and stuff and everything. So that's why Scotty was having his, he was questioning his leadership, Kirk's leadership on the Farragut and stuff and everything else. He was just thinking, he's supposed to be a second off. He's supposed to be like a first officer and stuff like that, and he's not acting like he is in a command role and stuff and everything else. But when this ship was heading towards another planet and I suspect that they could have scanned, they I don't know if they had sensors that can scan and seeing that there was a lot of life form, because if they had a more compass, they wouldn't head to a planet with over 100 million life forms or 100 million beings on it and stuff like that, unless they're going to extract whatever was that Verterium or something that they was trying to get. Dave, did you take notes down?
I did not take that note down, but yeah, I remember them talking about that.
They was extracting something, for fuse something or consumption and stuff and everything else, and they didn't.
Was that Altaria?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
And they did not care. They did not care one way that there was life forms on this planet. So you can see that this scavenger, these scavengers, the scavenger shit, whatever, they lost their sense of morality. And they was human beings, and they was human beings as well.
Your mic is picking up that fan.
I'm sorry. I'm so long.
No, just when
we're making Katie hot. Careful, guys.
You're talking about
even though she's a lesbian.
I know, surrounded by all these gorgeous guys,
I'd like to know where you think we're gorgeous. Where's the gorgeous guys? That's what I want to know.
Oh, stop it. I'm sorry, I do only have a vest top on under this, but I am too warm to keep my jumper on. So, you're going to have to deal with the girls, guys.
Hey, they're not turning me and Dave on.
Yeah.
Good job, really.
But anyway, this particular episode really did highlight, what Katie stated, and stuff about it's not a foreshadow foreseeable thing but it's it's one of those things where that could be a possibility, in a long-term future for humanity if you do not keep a sense of moral compass and ethics too,
Absolutely.
and you throw it out the window. And when we human beings, if we get to travel among the stars, are we going to, we're going to look at other life forms on other planets and stuff and everything else? Are we going to dismiss their being and, take, I hate to put it like this, but, basically take their natural resources and be damned with them and, be like, oh, well, we gotta, move these, creatures out of the way and stuff like that, even though they're not like intelligent creatures and stuff, or, intelligent creatures basically what we would refer to as pre-industrial warp civilization. That's how they put it in Star Trek and everything else and stuff. Are we going to have that notion of like what happened in this particular episode, the scavengers and stuff like that, the hell be damned with everybody else and stuff like that? It's what's that old saying go? Dog eat dog world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a survival of the fittest.
Not being funny or out, and please tell me that I'm wrong, but this is just my opinion. What? Thank you, dear.
Welcome.
But what I got from this episode is that these scavengers basically consume and destroy. That is what they do. Consume and destroy. That is what humans do. That is what
Yeah.
humans do. If you look at like the fauna on this world, on Earth, they develop a natural equilibrium with their environments, and they live more in harmony with their environments. At one point, humanity did as well, but now all we do is consume and destroy, and then spread. And you know, that's what these destroyers do. I mean, you know, I agree with Agent Smith in the Matrix. You know,
I was about to
I
say,
really
the
do.
Matrix again.
And you know, I I'd always thought that about humanity. And then when you know, when I saw the Matrix, Agent Smith said that humans are like a disease. That they're the cancer of this world. And I'm just like, do you know what? Yeah, that is correct. I'm not talking about individual people. I'm talking about humanity as a whole. And you know, we don't have any balance with the earth, and yet we're supposed to be the superior ones. We're supposed to be the superior species on this planet, and yet how superior can we be when all we do is consume natural resources until they're running dry and cause harm to our home, you know? And that's basically what is portrayed with these scavengers,
Absolutely.
the side of humanity that no one ever wants to admit to, the side of humanity that is plain to see but also hidden at the same time.
Zach has been really quiet.
I
He's
know,
in his
I miss
own
his voice, I
typical.
miss his face. I need to see me some Zach.
Probably falling asleep.
And if
Or
anybody is
snuggle in
watching,
his pods, one or the other.
I was gonna say, if anybody's watching right now and stuff, you can actually come and talk to us live if you want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, we still got 5 slots available. So just click on that link below in the YouTube description. Or if you're watching on Twitter, just drop a note to Katie_XXX and she can DM you the link to join in on the Discord, or not on the Discord, but on the StreamYard. But yeah, you can totally join in on the Discord as well. If you had bit.ly/DT_fam, you can join in on all the hijinks that go on back behind the scenes of Dangerous Thoughts and technically Trek. And sometimes you might
I've just
get
looked
the
on my
inside
Twitter and
scoop
I've
on
got
some.
no DMs.
Okay, yeah. See, I haven't gotten DMs when I was doing that as well. So, but now that we're on Twitter again, yeah, I've been getting quite a few new subscribers since I've actually knuckled down and I pay for the premium membership. So, but I mean, when I hit 1701 viewers or followers last year in January, and it's just been pretty stagnant ever since. But now that I pay $8 a month, that number's starting to climb again. Granted, a lot of them are stupid spam bots, but it's still, I'm getting traction again.
But speaking of Twitter, I've just had a look to see if I have got any DMs because I don't get any notifications for random DMs unless it's from friends. But it's just told me that it's my 4-year anniversary.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
I hit my.
Well, let's talk about one of the funniest things in this
stupid.
particular episode. While we're still here and everything else, let's talk about what's her name, Paleo.
Pelia, yeah.
Let's
I
talk
love
about.
her.
Let's talk about when she walked on the bridge and heard them talking about, because they could not have any communication.
Oh yes.
What she said, how she put it, she glad that she missed the 80s, the 1980s. She glad
she's
she missed
she lived through the
1980s.
80s.
And I was just like, okay, where's she going with this? Boy, oh boy, did she! It turned out to be something that I would not even think about. Sixer, you will actually, if you see the particular episode, you will actually be like, "Huh? They really did this? I mean, did they really do this? I mean, it was absolutely funny in the sense that you would not think that somebody was to break out old style 80s telephone to run through the ship,
rotary phones.
rotary phones to run through the ship so they can have communication. She had
Really?
she bought out she had a trunk full of old like 70s or 80s telephone. Let me tell you, here's the joke. Here's the joke. Did you write it down, Dave? Did you write
When
it
you say
down?
when you say 80s telephones, you mean almost the little push ones with the older
The
with
big,
older
and the push
at the
down.
top, it makes that bit strange
Yeah.
bleeping noise.
So
yeah.
Ortega, who's the helmsman of the Enterprise, she handed Ortega I don't know how you want to call it wireless stuff, but she handed Ortega like this
Ortegas.
the handle thing like this to go like this, and Ortega was like, "What is this? A personal massager?"
I love that. I absolutely love that. I was laughing so much when I saw that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I was
but
just like, "Go ahead, Dave."
well, no, you can finish that thought because there's
I
another
was
thing in
like,
there.
my jaw was dropped. I was like, "Are we really gonna do this?" I laughed so hard when she said it's a personal massager. I was like, "Oh, honey, only if you knew." Especially
You know
in
what
the
probably would
80s.
have made
That
that
was
even, you know what that made that perfect if it actually had one of those the early 80s cordless telephone, the one with the big
Mhm.
brick type thing with where you carry a battery.
Yeah.
That
It was
would
so-
really complete.
it
That would
was-
really complete it.
this particular episode was so funny because they was able to quickly, and they had it on the bridge, and they had them like because they, of course, they had one on the starboard side, one on the port side where the thrusters were, and Una was on one, and Dr.
Mbega.
was on the other, and they were sitting there on the telephone while they was holding the joystick to the thruster because they was going to use the maneuvering thrusters to get out of the ship, and it was just so funny when it started ringing. Pelia picked it up and she handed it to Ortega, and Ortega was like, "Hello." I was like, how did she know how did she understand to say hello?
Should have it
on the other
reversed.
Well,
It was so funny.
And there's a one bit when I think it was Una when she first picked it up, she got the dial tone and she's like,
Yeah, it was
But-
absolutely bonkers that they
But do you know
actually
what?
showed. Oh, go ahead, Katie.
Do you know what? For years, I've not seen those old style telephones, but for the first time in ages, I went to see my grandmother. She's currently in a nursing home, and my mum gave me the tour of the nursing home, and in one of the rooms, they had a black old style rotary phone, and I've not seen one in years. And then when I saw this episode tonight, I'm just like, oh, I only saw one of those the other day. So that's a little bit strange, but things like that always
And you
happen.
know what? This actually kind of let's take a moment and think about this too. They're on a advanced starship. Communication is supposed to be very advanced and stuff and everything else, long range communication stuff like that. And they was put in a situation. They put in a situation where they could not even have their personal communication wasn't working and stuff and everything else. Paleo thought of, you know what? I know what can work. Yes. One of those type of phones.
Like that.
It was literally like one of those type of phones and stuff and everything. And you start to think about this too.
That's a Cold War one.
In this day and age, because most of our cell phones, we got cell phones. We rely on digital phones. Everything is, they're not analog anymore. Most of the stuff, landline, analog and stuff and everything. Like as I mentioned earlier, AOL dial-up is going away. And I wish Tyson was here to talk about it because I was going to ask him about this because he does that radio. He does that. What's that radio show that he do every what's that
Radio Net.
Radio Net. And you start thinking too, people who are what they call not futurist or people who are doomsday, or people who think of the world's going to end and stuff like that. And people talk about the only communication is going to be short-range radio, long-range radio, stuff like that. Who, like, Marconi or Tesla, they constructed these, analog type of things, stuff and everything. You start thinking about that, and it's like, you know what? In the advanced society, like they had that we seen in this particular episode, and stuff like that, they had to resort to something that was more than 200 years old, and that actually worked in their favor.
Oh yeah,
because they could. It was grounded, as what Una said. It was a grounded technology that cannot be, was it hacked or
blocked
you're talking about something like that, relying on old technology when new technology is no longer example. Perfect example of film, Battleship. Yeah.
Yes.
All the state of the art ships were all taken out by this alien signal, and they had to rely on an old analog battleship. It didn't have anything digital on it, and they used that to take out the aliens.
Yeah, one thing though, we talk about all the analog phones. I mean, if they really wanted to camp it up, they should have dropped in one of these.
Yes.
Oh.
Or the novelty one. There was actually one. They actually turned the phone into a boot.
I wonder what Ortega would say about that particular thing. I wonder what Ortega would say about this. Were you supposed to what? Rub on it or something? Nah.
So not a genie, it's not a lamp.
But no. Well, the number of those phones that Pelia just had laying around in her quarters just kind of showed how much of a pack rat she was.
Yes,
still is. Because even with the episode tomorrow, all that stuff that she had.
I mean, I knew she was ageless. I can't understand what was she doing with so many damn bloody phones.
Oh, you should have seen it. It was ridiculous. She routed it through, a great deal of the shit, but enough where they was on the bridge and they was able to, communicate in, the areas that they needed to and stuff and everything else. And she did that pretty quickly too. That I was sitting there like, they really gonna use old analog telephone that some of us grew up with. Yeah, all the way back to it was there even in the 90s, but they was in this particular episode, they had cords on it. They had a cord. They weren't cordless. They had the cord still on it, and like you were saying, the rotary type things and stuff. I laughed when I seen she pulling out the rotary. I was like, oh my goodness! And she set up something that looked like literally. You know how they had an old style, operators where the operators would do like this and stuff and everything. I swear, I thought she was going to be the operator on the ship. She was going to
could be one of those ones where you wind up to stop. Hello.
Yeah. Can you connect me to the one name of yes? Wait, just one moment. They take one thing out, put it up there and stuff like that. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. That particular scene was and stuff. And I was like, you know what? She seemed like the comic relief. And this is go back to what I said earlier. Why I think Scotty went on a Farragut. It was good to see Scotty on the Farragut and her stayed on the Enterprise, because it was, in a sense, not comic relief in a sense, but like her ideas were so unorthodox that it actually worked. They made it work in that particular thing. And it showed in 10 minutes. And you know what? It showed that they are an advanced tech. They are advanced. They are an advanced people who had to resort to something that was more older than they never even thought of. And only one person on the ship knew how to use it. That is the
downfall of relying on new technology too much, because eventually something will happen, like an EMP or something will take it out. And then what you got?
Exactly.
That's what I talk about. Like
that is a problem. That is the biggest problem we have here on Earth. We're relying too much on technology and digital things, storage and all that. And all it takes is an EMP or something to wipe everything, and we're thrown back into the Stone Age. And nobody even knows what a rotary phone is. Nobody knows about all analog and everything. My daughter, she can't even read an old style clock face. She still relies too much on digital.
That's crazy. Yeah. You know what? I met people like that who said that they do not understand like
And I said, that's the
this
problem.
sucker.
They're making us exactly. They're making us rely too much on digital and all this other stuff without also learning about analog as well as digital. But we're relying too much on digital than actually combining the two.
Yeah, because when you talk about analog clocks,
Yeah,
that was
VHS,
the first.
yes.
That's the first thing I noticed in Pelea's quarters, the cat clock.
Yes,
Oh,
she had that.
Felix.
That's what she
It's
had.
Felix.
Yes, that's what she had in that. Oh yeah, I was like,
See that elicited a chuckle out of me.
oh, it was absolutely crazy. I was like, you know what? She's a packer. And when she said the 80s, I was like, what is she? What has she got in mind for the 80s? But I'm surprised she didn't bring, like you said, bought out one of those giant brick type of 80s style cell phones that that they had way back in the 80s and stuff. Because I remember seeing those when I was a kid. I remember seeing but this particular episode, A Strange New World, just show you, in a sense, it was so funny how the crew of the Enterprise reacted to this form of old style technology. when Ortega was like, "What is this? A personal massager?" I was like, they did not have to go there with that. I was like, no. If you think that what kind of massager
do y'all vibrate? She's all right.
Well, it's better that she said a personal massager and not like a sex toy.
I was that's why I said it.
Well, that was kind of like a double entendre.
I was trying to be so crude.
Because when she said personal massager, my head went straight to sex toy.
Well, it would, yeah, okay.
Oh, is that what?
And you think us blokes have got nothing but sex on the mind? Come on.
You know what went through my head when I heard that? I was thinking, oh man, somebody get a bad ear infection.
Oh, like buzz.
Oh, Mama, I love you.
That's why women, when they have the mobile phones, they always have on silent mute. They when they get a phone call, get a big smile on the face.
Well, yeah. Why do you think the vibration setting was invented?
Yeah, exactly.
It was a comic. It was a comic relief. This particular episode and stuff and everything, that had a little comic relief, despite how horrible. But go ahead, Katie. I'm sorry.
Do you know when they were steering the ship with the old games console thing? Am I the only person who had a flashback to Insurrection?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned it. Yeah.
Oh, the joystick.
Yeah.
She pulled out. Oh! Did y'all not see when she was pulling everything out? The first thing she pulled out, was that an Atari or was that a ColecoVision, Dave? I swear it was a game. It looked like
it was a games console.
It looked like an Atari. To me, it looked like an Atari game set.
I went straight to an Atari as soon as I saw it. But I thought, okay, so they're going to steer the ship like on Insurrection, getting out the old games consoles, and then for communication, obviously, she pulled out the rotary phones. But no, honestly, I just had as soon as that games console came out with the joystick, I started having flashbacks to Insurrection.
God,
you know what? Now as you mentioned, you're absolutely right. I didn't think.
I didn't think about that too, Katie. That's really good because when they was when the Doctor and Una was basically on each side of the ship where the thrusters were, I was like looking at their hands. I was like, wait, that looks like a joystick. It was a joystick. I was like, it looked like something you would see like on a fighter plane, like a military type plane when
flight stick.
Yeah. And like Katie said,
a lot of game consoles did have flight stick,
and it resembled the one from Insurrection where Riker took and pulled out the steering column. It looked just like that.
Is that the head massager?
No, that's one of the football phones that was mentioned in the chat a minute ago.
Marla.
But
yeah.
See, let's see here. The one phone I was kind of hoping that they were going to show, but unfortunately, probably because of copyrights. Here, I'm pulling it up right now. Here,
guys, I was hoping if we have time, I would like to if I could share the the one of my intros to Defiant, which shows all the crew.
Oh, yeah.
If we have
totally.
time.
Yeah, I
So
think
this is
we-
your show, so I would like to, so everyone gets to know what the ship looks like and who the crew are.
Oh yeah, totally. I do not have a problem with that, and this is trying to find.
I say, if you've
She
got,
said
if you've
this is
got time for me to do that, I'll bring it up before I have to get off because it's starting to get late here, and I really need to get some sleep myself.
Yeah, it's 2:35 a.m.
Well,
it's so fun.
same.
It's so funny when Paleo was talking about about the 80s and stuff. I
Get
was
up
just
for you.
thinking, I remember the 80s. I was like, I could appreciate whatever she did, whatever she's gonna do. I can appreciate it, and boy, oh boy, it did not disappoint me. It really did not disappoint me. It made me laugh. It really made me laugh. Oh, Mala, she wasn't here, but the link to your shoot, I can't even think, Sixer. I'm trying to think.
Right.
To your channel, Sixer. Mala
Yep.
Mala wasn't here earlier, and I guess she wants to know about your.
Well, so I got the I've got it in the presentation. If you want to bring it, I can share the
here,
intro.
hold on, I'll grab it again here.
Oh, the big old 80s hairstyle. I remember that.
Oh, I gotta
I
love the big
remember.
80s hairstyle. It was so prominent in V, that was sure.
Oh. I
Not
remember
the film, the TV series.
the TV series.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember the
Big
series.
hair, didn't she?
That's his link right there, Mala. They posted it in the chat and stuff, and you see it on the screen. But 80s were known for big hairstyle, shoulder pads too. For
Yes.
Oh
women.
yeah.
Gotta have the big shoulder pads for the 80s. You can't be the 80s up the big shoulder pads, especially Dynasty.
So that's the only thing about the
Dynasty,
80s
whatever
that
you
I
wanna
don't
call
like is the shoulder pads. There's, I don't know about across in America, but there's a few clothing stores over here, and they've been doing things like like rock band vests and things like that in Primark especially. But they've been adding shoulder pads to them, and I'm just like,
It's making a
what
comeback,
the
baby.
actual hell? And I'm just like, no, shoulder pads should never have existed. I mean, because of that, the Romulans took it too far. Shoulder pads just should not exist. I mean, all right, fair enough. In like proper tailored suits and things like that, so they stay all prim and proper, then fair dues.
Well,
that is
Well,
acceptable.
the Romans are the aces of the shoulder pads, so that means the Klingons are the space version of Kiss.
Yes,
But-
exactly.
When
Yeah,
I think of shoulder pads, real quick, Dave. When I think of shoulder pads, I think of Christy Brinkley.
Well, and the female anchors when I worked at a TV station in the early '90s, they were really big with the padded shoulders for their outfits for being on camera as well. But the pillows, shoulder pads, but yeah, I was mentioning earlier. Say I had to find an image I could actually pull up. It's probably because of copyright reasons they didn't have it, but this was the phone that I was really looking forward to seeing Pelia have.
Oh, hey. Oh nice.
Garfield.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
I wanted one of those in my room when I was a kid.
I love that pud. He loves lasagna. I'm sorry, but that is like me as a cat.
Yeah,
Getting fat from lasagna.
Loki, I haven't read the Garfield comics or comics in general that much as I've been an adult, but reading Garfield was a to-do every single morning before I went to school, because when we got to the classroom, we're standing outside waiting for the teacher to open the door to let us in, talking with my friend Sean, saying, "Oh my God, did you read Garfield today? Ha ha ha! It was so funny." But yeah, we made a point of talking about that was one thing that Sean and I always connected with was Garfield strips.
And people read stuff like that back in those days, like on newspaper when newspaper was big and stuff like that. They had like comic strips and newspapers and stuff. It it was one of those things where
Yeah,
people read those.
and with my local newspaper saying they had Garfield completely separate from the rest of the comic strips. It was at the lower page of the front page of the Northwest section of the local paper. Then all
Yes.
the other comics were
I just
somewhere
had to turn the
else.
light off because it's like I don't want to disturb my family. So I had to turn the light off.
It's all good, man. But yeah, there's just like that, just very nostalgic. Oh yeah, yeah, that works.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what? A lot of people like ourselves who actually lived through the 80s and the 90s and stuff, we could appreciate in this particular episode, especially Paleo bringing that thing. We laughed our butts off. And so younger people who literally were born literally at the turn of this century, they wouldn't really understand. And they would be like, huh, and stuff and everything else and stuff. But we have a sense of humor of thinking, you know what? I can see it. It did the whole thing about her saying, is this a massager? You know, I mean, for us,
Well, yeah.
you know,
I mean,
we
I
get
was
that.
I was born at the end of the 80s, but because of I was born 87, and you know, I still remember a lot from back then. And like obviously I grew up in the 90s, but you know, we had a record player. We had those landline phones, and you know, I mean, we never had an Atari, but we had one of those very old Amstrad computers where the games were like cassette tapes. And I remember
Commodore
like Oh
64.
Mummy, Roland on the Ropes, all things like that. And then we had a Sega Mega Drive, and you know, I talk to people, even some people my own age are only like 2 or 3 years younger than me. And they're just like, what's a Mega Drive? And I'm like, excuse me? And, you know, and there's so many people who don't remember the old rotary phones who are actually my age. And I'm just like, where the hell were you? You know, were you like, did you live in a closet for like the first 10 years of your life? And it was just so mad that some people, even who grew up in that era, the amount of things people forget. I mean, people can't, a lot of the time, yes, judges you in Klingon, yes. I'm very good at doing that. Especially because I tend to curse in Klingon in the middle of an argument. But, you know, it is amazing what people forget. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot that I've forgotten as well. But you know, if it was brought to my attention, I'd just be like, "Oh my god, I forgot they even existed." You know, and it's absolutely crazy. But I would have loved to have seen like real time reactions from like people who were like 20 years old. Who really like Trek, like watching that episode. I would have loved to have seen their reactions, like what the actual fuck. I mean, she even had an old style jukebox in her room, and
well, Tom and B'Elanna did in Voyager, so
yeah,
but you know, a lot of people don't know what these things are, and it's just. I mean, that's one thing I loved about Tom and B'Elanna. Well, mainly Tom. You know, he liked his old school stuff, like the jukebox, and they had a black and white TV, right, with the turny things. You know,
and he's had his own touch to the Delta Flyer, didn't he? The old manual controls he had on there.
Yeah. Exactly, and I absolutely love that. And there were so many people who were like, maybe like 5 to 10 years younger than me, like, what the hell is he doing? And I'm
we're not getting off subject here. Speaking about on the same topic and everything, not to get off topic of what we discussed in this particular episode, but what about the episode of Star Trek Voyager, season 2, episode 1, the 37s, when they encounter American Earth style vehicle in the Delta Quadrant, and they beamed it aboard, and I swear. That was so funny. Tom knew about, Tom knew about this how this particular vehicle worked and stuff. But
And-
when he turned the ignition on and push the starter, and it backfired, to see Balana and Janeway duck and Tuvok pull out his phaser, looking around like this.
Well, but
I was like,
but for a car like that being in the vacuum of space for hundreds of years, for it just to start up right away, it's just like, what?
yeah. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, the gasoline in the
frozen solid, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. The stuff inside the fuel line and everything else would have been like frozen and stuff. I was like, I'm kind of like on that,
No, there's no amount of antifreeze that will stop that from freezing.
No. But that just said, we've seen little tidbits and pieces and stuff like that. I just want to throw that after to anybody who hasn't seen, the 37th in Star Trek Voyager, but that was pretty funny, that particular episode.
No, Molly, it's that 37 Ford pickup. So it's like almost a century before Tesla.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 37s, it was supposed to have been like the season finale of season 1, but they ended up making the season premiere for season 2 because like Hollywood wibbly wobbly stuff. That's why the first few episodes of season 2 of Voyager, they still had the previous season star dates. And I believe, let's see, we've got the little tidbit there for Sixer wanted to play his intro.
I'll find it then.
Space, the final frontier. These are the new voyages of the Starship Defiant. Our continuing mission in a new frontier. To seek out new life and new civilizations. To boldly go where no man has gone before.
I like that.
Thank you for letting me share that.
Oh, absolutely.
Need to
Let's see, we'll need to get back.
Did you hear the sound? I forgot to ask you if you heard the sound.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Well, I did anyway.
I heard it.
Because I did press the share button on it, so
There it is. Oh yeah. Well, no, say the episode, Mal, if you remember with the 37s, is saying it was the time of when Amelia Earhart, when she disappeared during her circumnavigation of the globe, saying aliens uh, lifted up various people, including Earhart and Fred Noonan. They abducted her as well as some other people from Earth in 1937, and one of them was a farmer driving up in America and just
And a
yoink
Japanese
the
officer as well. Second
yeah.
World War Japanese officer.
Mm.
But yeah, one of the people that was abducted was a farmer in his truck. So that's how that truck got out that way. But I for
And it got ejected into space somehow. It got ejected into space for so long until Voyager came along. Almost what? How many years?
Probably
300
wasn't necessary. I'll
years
get rid of
later.
yeah, you might have missed it earlier, Mala. I'm going on 2 hours of sleep in the last day and a half from stuff that happened last night in the house. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely. Usually, it was jokes of near over my head. It's like way over my head.
Yeah,
But
Dave's channeling my insomnia tonight, love.
yeah, see, I got Katie beat. But I wanted to take center stage for just a hot second here because there's something that I forgot to share last week with y'all, because this is going to be the new centerpiece when the studio is going to be moving. This is going to be behind me.
very nice.
Yes.
Oh,
Very nice.
Yeah. So
that's a beauty.
and it's the LED one, so it's got little lights and stuff in it. But
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love the old.
I need to find a power supply for it to be able to utilize it. But it's going to be the new centerpiece behind me when I move to the manager's unit downstairs here. That is not the one I
Can you
wanted.
do that? Hold on.
The only day I love.
You're gonna do that.
Right on.
Katie, I got you beat.
Couldn't resist.
It was futile.
Actually, it's one of 20. This is a limited edition one as well, sir. He only printed off about. You see, you've got the bottom there. 120, no, 200, 250. This is number 11.
Oh,
the
wow.
prints.
Wow.
At the back.
Wow.
Certificate of authenticity.
That's such a collector's
She will
item.
always be my queen. She will always be my queen. I love Alice.
I came close to getting her to sign this, but I wasn't able to. So unfortunately, I was going to take this with me and get her to sign it because it was near the convention, not far. It's in Birmingham.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, so with that, that'll definitely get an autograph off of that. So
I never got this.
That'll happen.
This autographed. Oh, if I got this autograph,
Honestly, if she ever does a convention, I would go to the convention just for her.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even if it is like Birmingham or somewhere, it's only down the road from me. But no, I absolutely adore Alice. I really do. She will always be my queen.
Right, guys, it is so late. It's nearly 3 o'clock, and I really need to try and get some sleep. Otherwise, I'm going to be in serious trouble and try and get up in the morning.
Yeah,
I'm not even tired. That's a problem. I've taken most relaxant for my ankle, and it's still not. Well, okay, my ankle's not hurting, but I'm not tired. So I've really got to try and sleep. Otherwise, I'm going to have trouble tomorrow night.
Well, we appreciate you joining us a second time again, Sixer and stuff and everything else. And,
thank you for having me on and for letting me show you the mind you, that's an old title sequence that's been replaced now, but I liked it. I thought I'll keep it on my channel.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
Chapter 8.
Come back and see us.
If I'm able to, I will definitely come back.
Absolutely.
Same back channel.
And you know what?
Chapter
We got to
8.
introduce you to Manu, who played Icha in Star Trek Voyager. Whenever we get a chance and stuff like that, because you actually get to talk to a cast member who wasn't a full-time cast member, but he was part of the last 2 seasons of Star Trek, and he could tell you some wild stories about being part of the Star Trek journey.
Also, and he's still friends with a lot of. He's still friends with a lot of the cast members.
And so Chapter 8 will be released very soon of Star Trek Defiant. Make sure you've watched all the other first 7 before watching that. And yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna have to start with working on the storyboard and generate the voices for chapter 9. I suppose I better get started on that when I get a chance.
Well, it was nice to meet you, lad, and don't be a stranger.
Well, just also know I've also finished writing chapter 13 and I'm working on chapter 14, so it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'm still writing chapters, let alone doing storyboards.
Well, before you run up, just really quick, that probably the biggest prop is the fact that you use the Defiant insignia on their uniforms, because like with the original series, every starship had a different logo.
Had its own one.
Yes.
Yeah, which is kind of like
I made sure they kept to that. You know, I wasn't
tradition.
I kept it with the tradition. Yeah. So yeah.
Major props.
And
on
so
that.
Yeah, it's well, let's say now chapter 8 is everything's starting to chapter 7 was interesting. Now chapter 8 is going to be even more interesting. So like I said, I hope everyone was it's lots of positive comments and getting this. Everyone's enjoying it and asking what next one or when the next one is. So me and my animator are really pleased how everything's coming, how people are really enjoying Defiant. So yeah. Well, we have the get out, so I think we had one person say, well, why are you using the old ones? Why can't you use the one like the Prometheus as well? Because we like the TOS. Because why not?
Exactly.
I mean, I grew up on TOS, and so yeah, why not? And I didn't really exactly like how the Defiant went out, so let's bring her out and give her a second chance. You know, right?
The lost voyages, so to speak.
Yes, yes. Yeah. All right, guys, I gotta go now. Thanks for having me on, and hopefully I'll catch you.
Sweet dreams, lad.
Well, here's hoping, but if not, I'll try catch you another time. Or I'll put something in the chat. You guys, take care. Bye bye.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right. Yes, I'm slowly starting to lose my voice. Oy.
Well, it's coming up on 10 o'clock my time.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, where is that?
Talk amongst yourself.
Well, I mean, Zach was here earlier. He probably had something to do. I mean, I'm sure he's probably listening to us, Katie, but he's probably what you call it when somebody's just eavesdropping or lurking around. He's lurking behind the scenes on us.
He's a lurker. Shadows that. Yeah.
He's what we say peeping Tom or peeping Zach.
No.
If he's
he's lurking.
He's a lurker.
I mean, yeah,
but
he helps with the channel. So I mean, he's
he does.
He's allowed to lurk.
And to any of our viewers and stuff like that, go ahead and subscribe to Zach himself and everything else. Zach has he still have his account up.
Yeah, there's a lot of great content on his channel, and saying love the cross promotion, because I mean, my viewers help his channel helps my view get more viewers. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
It is.
But but we don't have a giant 4-story baby sucking the juices out of us.
Voyeur.
I love you, Mala.
we miss you. We miss your jokes, my dear.
Oh, Mala. We miss you. We miss you and everything. Hope you're doing well and stuff. And you're taking everything that is happening tonight in stride.
Well, and I mean, if you want to just hop on so you can chat with us offline backstage, you can kind of get filled in on some of the stuff that I've been dealing with the last 2 nights. Why I've only gotten 2 hours of sleep in the last 36 hours.
Really, because it's coming up on 10, I'm gonna start wrapping up for myself and everything else, the conclusion of this particular episode and stuff and everything else. For me, my final thoughts about this particular episode, because we touched on a lot of interesting subjects, especially about real world, a what if, You
Exactly,
know,
and that's what I got written in my notes. The what if? What if this happened?
oh,
What if that happened? Dude,
and,
what? Where?
and you know
Why?
what? They did it such a thing, and then there was a sense of levity in the thing, because of paleo and the joy
There he
that
is.
oh, it's the
What's up, y'all?
it's the
Yay!
lurker, the voyeur. But
Voyeur.
what I got from this particular episode, in a sense, because it showed, like I said, the what ifs, the possibility, the what if or possibility of going down. You know, what will happen in the sense you come to the fork in the road? Do you go right or do you go left? You know, and it's like, you know, you don't know what that path is going to lead you down and stuff and everything else. And it brought, in a sense, you know, an interesting thing, but you know, in a sense too, what really took me, I don't know if anybody ever caught this, but when, like I said before, when Captain Pike went over to the Farragut to talk to
Kirk.
Riker or Kirk, talk to Kirk, and well, he talked to Kirk, and you know, he gave his. It wasn't so much of a speech, but it was almost not so much of a pep talk, but it was just something of a reminder, of a reminder of why they do the things they do when it comes to command decision
A splash
and
of cold water.
and it's like, look, you got to live with those decisions, regardless of the bad, the good or bad that comes out of them. You own those decisions, and you have to, and that's something that you're going to have to live with and stuff and everything else. But what keeps you going is your sense of, you know, not sense of duty, but the sense of knowing that you did everything you could, even though the outcome is not what you want it to be, you know, and stuff and everything else. Because Kirk, you could see it was the devastation that he felt, that he killed 7,000 human beings when they realized those were human beings, his people. But yet, you know, he didn't give a second thought, in the sense, because he fired first and then the questions came after, as the old saying goes and everything else. But like I said, he had a moral compass. He's living with that moral compass. He's living with the ethical burden of command and stuff and everything else. So that's my take on it, because that was the biggest thing. Even though we had fun with paleo, bringing out the analog, the phones from the 70s and 80s and stuff, it was great stuff. But it was, to me, that particular scene is a reminder of the burden sitting in the chair.
It was a serious episode with just the right level of levity to say. So it's serious, but you can still laugh at some of it. But I mean, the topic was still pretty serious. That what if is what if you went right instead of left? Is saying, of course, the crew and the Earth went the right, and then these scavengers went the left because they thought worst case scenario. And
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Do you have any
Anybody else thought?
Katie, closing thoughts?
Just be aware of what you do in life. Don't allow the direction humanity is taking as a whole lead you down the same path. You know, always think about the consequences of your actions, and embrace what it means to be human.
What about you, Zach? Any thoughts to the episode? I know you've been working for the entire episode, or you're just like
That's why I walked away and let y'all have your show, because I don't have anything to say about it right now. I'll be watching it as soon as I get a chance to. And that's probably when after the season's ended, I'll probably find a bootleg and binge watch the season.
Yeah, say well one thing I
a
can
bootleg. You don't have a Prime or Paramount Plus?
I don't want to pay big corporate subsidy more money.
But one thing I can say about next week, the Play-Doh food is back.
Oh God.
Yep. See, there it is.
That one I might have
food.
to stream now. The Play-Doh food.
So they got
Why does that look so delicious?
Play-Doh food is back.
Just like the original series callback, totally right there. Just like, what is Starfleet? I don't know a lot about this episode. Hopefully Paramount, if you're watching, if you're listening, I would love to be one of those people that get to see this stuff before you air. I would be a good boy. I will keep my lips as tightly as sealed as I can. But yeah, being able to see that ahead of time would definitely help me out, so I know how to promote it better for you guys. Because I mean, I don't know if you guys were noticing. Say this is something Paramount sent me 2 years ago. Say that when I got the gift box back there with the from Lower Decks. Say got the Moopsie T-shirt, and then last year they sent me the signed poster of the Lower Decks main cast. Saying,
look at you, so special.
I know. Say when
I can still remember the day you got that gift box. I remember the day you got that, and you were so excited. The unboxing and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. I remember that so well.
Yeah, and the way the heat here in the Springs the last couple of days, this thing really does keep your shit cold all freaking day. And it's one of those Stanley mug things.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'd usually put either Hawaiian Punch or a V8 splash in there, so get the fruit and vegetables I need for the day, and it stays cold all day.
See, I love these tumblers. I won this one and I got the other one for free, but I love these because they will keep my coffee hot. I made this one. What time was it? At 10 p.m. last night. It is now 3:07, and it's still hot.
Yeah, I got some octopus tumblers like that from the company that I have my gaming tablet, my lift vehicle. But yeah, this thing is cold drinks only. So, but yeah, the octopus ones, those keep my coffee and tea hot for several hours. And not
cold,
this
non-alcoholic.
Yeah, cold, non-alcoholic beer I can do. Yeah, but alcoholic beer, no.
Tonic waters.
Do you know what? I really wish actually that they would make it more mainstream to serve like non-alcoholic beer in pubs and clubs, because I would actually go for that, because I only drink lager and stuff because I like the taste of it.
But yeah, we don't want to go too far off the deep end, off topic there, but but yeah, like I say, Travis has got to go. I got to have an emergency house meeting here in about 20 minutes.
Real quick, Dave. Anybody who now just last month, it came out last month. The new Superman movie came out. I know Zach probably you haven't seen it or whatever stuff, but I'm a Superman fan. I'm a big DC fan and stuff and everything else. I love comic books. I'm a big comic book fan. Superman movie came out. Wonderful movie. Love it. I love it. Now, this coming Thursday, the second season of Peacemaker, and Peacemaker is part of this DCU. The new Peacemaker show is coming out, and apparently the critics love this show. The critics love this show. Peacemaker. Anybody who enjoys Peacemaker, or as to say, who wants to see the continuation of what we saw in season 1, and in the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad back in 2021. You know, you guys, anybody who is going to be a fan is going to most likely love Peacemaker, because I know I am ready to see eagerly, and I'm ready to see Vigilante. You know, I'm ready to see these guys back in action and stuff, and new characters. You know, they bringing new characters to the DCU. I just want to throw that out there.
I'm actually glad. I'm glad you mentioned that, Travis, because yeah, John Cena has found a great second career as an accomplished Hollywood actor. He's like full. I mean, I think one of his first one was the Marine, the original The Marine. I say loved him in that. Saying Katie's just adamantly shaking her head no. But
the Marine, what?
Yeah, they've done a couple of the Marines. Like the Miz did a the Marine movie, but essentially it's one of those.
What?
Yes.
Why? Why did they make more?
Well, they made at least 2 or 3 more, I think. But yeah, the Miz played one. There's like another actor, but the original was with Cena as the lead role. I actually enjoyed that movie, and the new comment on
I
Prime.
can see the one
I
with the
forget
Miz being entertaining.
Yeah, but yeah, he's following me on Twitter now. So I got him. I got David Hasselhoff follow me. I have the rapper Caswell follow me on Twitter.
You said John Cena's following you, or the Miz?
He just started following me last week. He does not. He only follows a percentage of the tens of thousands of followers. He's got the millions of followers.
Marla, I want to see that movie. I'm going to check that movie out.
Yes, that's because the movie I think of Heads of State.
They both was in the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Remember,
I'm sorry, I absolutely love Idris Elba, but I cannot stand John Cena. I can't stand him. I cannot stand him.
Well, have you seen?
Where'd I go, everybody? I think I'm invisible.
No, I'm sorry, but I go back to WWE. I go all the way back to WWF. You know, I could not stand John Cena. I hate him.
WCW.
I think one of his first TV roles was for a Gold's Gym commercial. If you've never seen it, look it up. It's quite hilarious because the girls are making fun of him at the end. But yeah, it's great because he's oiling himself up in the oiling room. He's getting all nice and slick. He's being a big show off, and then he's got so much oil on his body, he slips and falls on his ass.
That sounds like Randy Orton every Monday or Friday.
Oh.
Baby oil Orton. Oh, baby oil Orton.
You can't go wrong with baby oil.
Well, evidently.
But yeah, I'm going to have the guys coming up here in a few minutes. So I'm going. Well, at least we're going to sign off officially for tonight. So thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to join us next week at the same time, same channel, and be sure and like and subscribe because again, even though life has been getting my way, I've been bad about
like and subscribe to Zach.
Message out. Yeah, like and subscribe to Zach. Like and subscribe to K70. It's the Sixer. Lots of great stuff. The Legacy Right is saying Defiant, and of course Technically Trek. And
Technically Trek over at Rumble too. Come become a follower. Get Technically Trek everywhere.
We're slowly getting there, but
Mono and Tyson 2.0.
Mono and Tyson, that's coming up soon, hopefully. Say I'm going to be talking to Mono this week, and I'm going to see if he wants to record a little blip for me to play on here, just like, hey, we're coming back. Tune in on Wednesdays at, I want to say he wants at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Is there 6 or 7? I say, but I think we're still kind of smoothing those out. Okay.
It's always been it used to be at 7 p.m, but then he took it back an hour about 2 years ago. So yeah, it'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Okie dokie. So until next week, everybody
make it 6 p.m. Eastern. That's late.
Yeah, well, late for you guys maybe, but over here not so much.
Oh, nonsense.
May Scott be with you. We'll see you all next week.
Take care.
Toodles.
Peace and long life.
Good night, everybody.